I'm making this video to talk about a particular claim by some rival fan and some media houses, even podcasts of some celebrities. They've been saying this, and I went back to the chalkboard to make some research on how many games have Arsenal played more than these other teams. I centered my research on the top teams and how many players did these teams start the season with. I want you to pay attention to the quality and the names I'm going to be calling. At the beginning of the season, Man City started and registered 29 players plus some academy players and some under 21 players which could not actually be registered directly. I want you to pay attention to the signing. In these 29 players, Man City signed 9 players ever since the season started. Number 1, Reinder, Cherokee, Antnori, Donnarumma, Trafford, Benitelli, Semenyo, Gui, which is in January. For Arsenal started the season with 25 registered players plus academy and under 21 players, which were 5. In these 25 players, Arsenal made some new signings to make their team robust and be able to tackle the season. These players are Kepa, Zubimendi, Norgard, Madueke, Mosquera, Gyökeres, Eze, Nkapie, which are 8 new players that was signed by Arsenal at the beginning of the season to make it 25. That means Arsenal brought 17 of their already own player and 8 new players to make it 25 with the academy boys. Liverpool started with 25 players also and 5 other registered players which were academy player and under 21 players. And this 25 player team had some new signing. They had Isak, they had Wheat, they had Ekitike, they had Kekes, they had Frimpong, they had Mamashvili, they had Pexi, they had Woodman, they had Giovanni, they had White. And this January they've signed Jeremy Jacket. That means their total number of signed players has become 11 new players. Liverpool. For Man U started the season also with 25 players. And they had other unregistered players which were academy players and also under 21 players. And these 25 players had some new signings also. They had Kun A, they had Mbuemo, they had Shesko, they had Lames, they had Leon, they had Ali Wright, and some other players that were in the academy. Chelsea, on the other hand, started the season also with 25 players and several other under 21 players from the academy or signed new players. And these 25 players had new signings also going into the season. They had Pedro, they had Gittins, they had Dilap, they have Esugo, they had William, they had Sarr, they had Pex. That means every team prepared for the season signed what they needed and started the game from game week 1. Now they are on game week 24 or 25, which means 14 games to go. Arsenal is on the first with 50-something points, leading Man City now by 6 points, and Aston Villa, who is on the third, by 7 points. Arsenal had played the amount of games and the same team that all the other teams have played during the first half of the season. And Arsenal have managed to actually been hit by injury that Man City is now crying about. Arsenal has been hit by injury. They've had the highest injury record this season alone by the middle of the season compared to the entire last season. So if your team refuse to meet up the power of performance to be on the first position, and the other team that is doing everything possible, even when they have a very terrible game, they still manage to do anything possible to make sure they do not lose. The only game Arsenal have lost this season in the Premier League has been the magic corner by Szoboszlai against Liverpool, and the game against Aston Villa, first game, and also Man U game that they lost 3-2. So tell me, how is it that the other teams were not performing well? How is it supposed to affect the justification or the originality of Arsenal's performance this season? Let's see. Forget farms. Let's say the truth to ourselves. When your team is not performing, the other team that is performing is basically performing because the other teams are not performing. Who said they should not perform? They prepared, they had their weapon before they started the race and the fight, but they dropped off before they are just being terrible team. And the other team that is the best performing team is on top of the table. You guys are performing. Give accolade to who accolade is due. An Arsenal fan, you're the one I'm blaming. You're the one that is falling for these people's rants, for their crying. Instead of them to give them bucket and towel to clean their tears, you're following them to castigate your own players, saying this, saying that. Every game that Gyökeres have started this season, Arsenal have either won or draw. It's only one game that he started that Arsenal have lost, which is the game against Liverpool. But next thing, you will start throwing that guy that is not scoring goals and all that. Is the team earning their 3 points? At some point, they will start with Odegaard. At some point, they drag Saka. Arsenal fan, receive sense. Receive sense. Support your team effortlessly and with all love. Everything they need. From the outside on the field, support them. Let the rival fan, let them continue crying. By May, we'll sit down and review how many trophies we've won. Because by then, we would have won about 2 or 3 trophies by then. Up Gunners. If you like, write it tomorrow. If you like, call us On Go FC, Corner FC, Set Piece FC, Arambo FC, Squad Death FC, If Easy Runner. Shey, you don't say those names, they make us fresh. No, they make us fresh now. In fact, if Arteta like, let him start one boy from the academy. So far my 3 points enter. I will never ever question whatever that man does. Because he knows for one more than all of us. That's why, see, there are rooms for mistake. Because he's not God and he's not an angel. Coaches make mistake and he's not new. But even with the mistake, even with his brilliance, he's earning 3 points. He's on the first, leading Man City, the almighty Man City. I'll call them because they have a very good track record over the past 5 seasons. Yes. So leading them by 6 points. And even going to start leading them very soon by 10 points, 11 points. I'm waiting next 5 games. I'm going to come back and review this content. Arsenal is the best team in the world. You all should just live with it. Sulk, cry all you want. This team will keep being the best team in Europe and in England. Thank you.